I asked you guys what species you wanted me to do next, and it was overwhelmingly wrasse. It seems like a lot of you guys are interested about what these aquarium wrasse species look like in their natural habitat. So welcome to Reefcraft, join me as I search for these incredible fish and bring stunning footage like you've never seen before. I'll show a heap of aquarium favourites, plus I'll show you guys some extraordinary wrasse that I don't reckon you've ever seen. So stick around because I'm going to show you 10 species of wrasse in this video. I'll put together some more videos in the future with more wrasse, so drop comments with what you want to see. Alright, let's kick things off with one of my favourite species. This is the Checkerboard Wrasse, and these guys are so incredibly hard to film. I actually can't believe I got this good at footage. But it gets its name because of the checkerboard pattern along the back half of its body, and they actually vary a lot in colour depending on where they come from. They feed mainly on inverts and spend most of their day doing this, but a lot of the time they actually are following behind animals that disturb the sand like turtles, rays and other fish species. Which you can see in the last two clips, these guys are following behind these goatfish. Next on the list we have these floral Maori wrasse. This one is a slightly less common wrasse, and I want to know, have you guys seen one of these before? One of the really cool things these wrasse can do is completely change colour, and you can see this one here has completely changed from the last clip. This fish has an awesome set of chompers coming out of its mouth, and these are used for crushing up its favourite prey, which are crustaceans, which they play a very important role in controlling their numbers on coral reefs. For this next fish, I finally did it. I finally found Leopard Wrasse and was able to film them on a coral reef for you guys. The Leopard Wrasse has this mosaic of patterns all across its body with dark eye spots, and this helps it blend into the coral reef habitat that it zooms around in. This family of wrasse has this really intriguing swimming style where they sort of swim up and down on the spot to confuse and deter predators. They are a diurnal species, meaning they hunt during the day and then bed down at night, and they have a really unique behaviour. They basically shoot themselves under the sand and sleep under the substrate. Their fun swimming style, their unique behaviours and their brightly coloured bodies make them extremely popular with aquarists, but they are really difficult to keep because they are known as a very shy fish. However, in the wild, this isn't really the case. They are actually quite active and will happily come up to divers. Now, I didn't just find one species of leopard wrasse. This next one is the black leopard wrasse, and I am so happy to be able to show you this. Juveniles of leopard wrasse species are generally found in deeper areas and in pairs. So you can see the two here on this deeper reef in the Great Barrier Reef, and they're doing that classic leopard wrasse movements, trying to deter me as they see me as a predator. Alright, let's move on to something completely different. This is the Western king wrasse, and it's more of a temperate species. This species, for anyone that comes from Western Australia, will be incredibly common, but for the rest of the world, this is a rare and exotic fish. Like a lot of wrasse, it starts off life as a female and changes into a male. These black and white thin fish here are actually juvenile Western king, then they move into this more pink with a red stripe over its eye, and then further off into the adult colours, like this. They can group together in large numbers that are sort of grazing over sandy areas like you can see here, and they're basically searching for all types of inverts and anything larger. When they are juveniles, they actually can also act like cleaner fish and congregate in cleaning stations, cleaning different animals. It's a pretty awesome fish if you ask me. Next up, we have this sunset wrasse following behind the Western king. Sunset wrasse have to be one of the prettiest fish in our oceans. And they actually have a huge tolerance to different environments. Where I'm filming right now is actually around 16 degrees in Rottnest Island. But I also regularly film these fish in Bali, New Caledonia and all throughout the Indo-Pacific. As I'll show you in this next clip, this is actually filmed in New Caledonia and is the same species in a completely different habitat. These fish are incredibly curious, and you'll see like this one here coming all the way up to my camera to look at itself in its reflection. They are a carnivorous wrasse, and these guys will actually flip rocks, break coral, and really get themselves into any part of the reef when they find something they want to eat, which doesn't make them the best aquarium species unless they're in a predator tank. If you thought leopard wrasse were shy, well, these guys take the cake. This is a Dusky Wrasse. They pretty much won't come near you, but they are very common on reefs around the Indo-Pacific, especially around reefs in Fiji. Although they're named dusky, they're actually covered in like a rainbow pattern, and you can kind of see it here in this clip where you can see the rainbow striations down from its face and a little red pocket behind its pectoral fin. It's actually a really important wrasse on reefs. They're really good at picking out little pests and invertebrates that would otherwise harm corals. Now, you can see here, they're almost always in these shallow areas, which does actually make them perfect for aquariums. So it is a bit more of an oddity, but think about this one in the future. Now, one of the most popular aquarium wrasse species is this one, the Sixline Wrasse, and they have a rather nasty reputation for being hyper-aggressive fish. From my observations in the wild, this completely stacks up. These guys dart in and out of all the cracks and crevices of the reef, in between all the corals, and will aggressively defend their areas from other species. They are almost exclusively around branching corals. Things like Acropora, Pocillopora, and those sorts of corals, you always find them darting in between all the branches. And you can see another example of it here. Their behaviour and their small bodies means they can get up close and personal in between the branches of all the different types of coral. This is awesome because they can actually go in and get things out like flatworms and other pest invertebrates that would otherwise harm the coral species. Which is exactly why people have them in their tanks. They're an awesome insurance plan to all these types of pests. This next fish is incredibly smart, and they've actually even been known to use tools. Its common name is the graphic Tuskfish, and what you're about to see is some awesome footage of it actually flipping rocks with its mouth and with its body, and then actually coming back and using its fins to fan out the sand in the area, exposing any sort of inverts or mollusks it can find. From here, it can take anything that it can't smash up with its mouth to its anvil, and that's usually coral or a rock in the area, and repeatedly smash that into the rock until it breaks and it can eat it. It took me hours of following these fish around to even be able to witness this behaviour. I unfortunately never found one of their anvils, but they actually have anvils they repetitively take things to smash them up. And you can actually find these without the fish. There's usually smashed shells and bits of mollusk littered around these anvils that they repeatedly use. So let me know, have you ever heard about this or seen this behaviour? Because it's actually believed that a lot of other tuskfish species do this as well. The lunar wrasse, the moon wrasse, or the crescent moon wrasse are all the same fish, and their range is absolutely massive. This shot is in Rottnest Island, followed by this shot in Bali. Check out how blue this male is. It has to be the dominant male in this area. They usually have a harem which consists of many other stages of this fish, and you can actually see a harem here from the shots of New Caledonia. If the dominant male was to die or go missing, the next male would step up in his place, and the other females will actually then change to male, and it actually only takes them about 10 days in this species. It's so interesting how wrasse do this and completely change the way they look. Ooh, and this is another exciting one. This one's actually been requested a few times. The dotted fairy wrasse. And again, a very common thing with wrasse, you have that dominant male that is brighter and a little bit more showy, and then you have the harem of several females and initial phase males, all ready to step up if that bigger male goes missing or dies. The males become even more obvious when courting, with all their colours intensifying. As for where they're found, I generally find them on slightly deeper areas below 10 metres, and always hanging around either staghorn acropora, or you can see in the background here some soft corals where they tend to congregate. If you've enjoyed this video, go and check out some of the other ones that I've made. We've made them on clams, corals, fish, and different types of anemones. So click on that video link you can see right now. And if there's anything in particular you want to see, drop a comment and let me know. Like always, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.